And the question is, are we willing to engage them? To be candid, it's a lot easier for me to take $20 out of my wallet and hand it out the window and drive away. It's harder for me to wake up at 5 in the morning, cook a meal, and bring that meal down to a residential motel and sit there in the cold and talk to people. But that's where the results are, because that's where the relationship is.
Now, something that was interesting, though, is, again, that's a friend of mine that's doing some of that work on Colfax, and they work their way around it. But because you talked about God and Jesus and getting them connected, and more than you would think, you knock on that door, and the person may be high out of their mind or drunk off their keister, but they're more than willing. They have faith, and they're more than willing to have that discussion. But if you go back the next day when their hangover's in, and they're like, oh, yeah, they won't open the door. Has that been a challenge? Like, how do you deal with stuff like that?
Not with myself, because as I've said, I've been such as those. And they're able to identify that I've actually been in their shoes. And so for me to actually have been in their shoes, we're able to talk about certain things and have certain discussions. Say, for instance, I'd go out with a group of people on a Friday night when we was doing the street ministry up there on Friday nights at the motel. I'll go in the motel room, they're smoking crack cocaine. I'll take the crack pipe from them and stamp it. And they identify with me that I've been there. And so nothing's done to me except for a conversation. But if someone else was worth to go and do that like yourself and go in there, you probably wouldn't make it out of there alive.
Right.
Yeah. So it's over the years of establishing relationships with them and their mannerisms and understanding the dialogue, because as we said, there's a totally different dialogue that they use in the homeless camps and that they use on the streets. It's certain codes, it's different codes that they even live by.
Yeah.
Totally different from the way we operate and the way we move.
Yeah.
And to the pastor's point, we have to lose our assumptions of what's right and wrong. And we have to maybe come down a couple notches and live and walk in other people's shoes, to use a cliche. So I don't wear a suit coat when I'm on the street. I wear a baseball hat and I wear my beat up vest. If I come in there with diamond rings and watches and hand
well, you may not leave with the diamond ring and watches, right?
That's part of it.
Yeah.
But the other part is they don't want to talk to me because they already know who I am. They've already seen people like me handing $20 bills and feeling good and leaving. That's not the way to start a relationship. The way to start a relationship is equality, as you said. Being willing to walk in, sit down, and engage people. And you know what? 50% of them will walk away. And we have to be strong enough to say, well, that didn't go so well, did it?
Sure.
But I'm going to come back next week, and I'm going to come back tomorrow, and if I don't see them, I'm going to meet somebody new.